am a self-published author who is looking to transition into traditional publishing / being a hybrid author. And today I'm going to share with you why I have decided to make that kind of transition despite being such a hardcore self-publishing is the way to go type of person in the beginning of my career. Hi, my name is Beck Skill. I am a fantasy / historical romance author, and I have self-published 3 novels, 1 duology, and 1 standalone novel, as well as a fantasy novella. And I have another romantasy novella that's available for free on my website, and I was also part of an anthology where I wrote a short story. And if, in case you're new here, I also have a chronic illness that leaves me disabled and unable to work, so I don't have money to hire out and pay for all the things that go into publishing a book. I do them all myself. There's no AI involved. I draw my own covers or design them on Canva. I draw my own character art. I have help from the wonderful community of authors and readers who beta read for me, and then I can self-edit. And then I format through Atticus, so I'm doing it all myself. And honestly, that's not the problem as much. I really enjoy it. I think I'm pretty decent. You can see some of my book covers here. I'm pretty decent at it. And I don't even mind self-editing. Revisions is one of my favorite parts of writing a book, actually. But here is the reason why I've decided to start querying my current work in progress. I feel like I have hit a ceiling on how much I can do by myself without paying for ads. And having just finished watching Brandon Sanderson's recent lectures, he was talking about how the golden age of indie publishing is over, and now you have to pay big money to make big money. And talking about, and this is kind of what I already was figuring out just by observing my fellow authors and seeing who's making it big. And what, even if it's just like, $5 here and there on an Instagram ad, I don't even have that kind of money, okay? Brandon Sanderson was talking about how you gotta spend a lot of money, especially on Amazon ads, and how back in the day Amazon was different, but now like they really favor people paying ads and everything. I'm realizing, okay, I think that I need the power of traditional publishing's distribution and getting into bookstores and the publicity, because despite there's like this rumor online that like, oh, if you do traditional publishing, you're still gonna have to do all the publicity of an indie publisher or of a self-published author. And that might be true if you go with a small press, but if you're talking like Big 5, they do a lot of stuff for you still. And one of the biggest things is getting into bookstores, which is really, really difficult if you're an indie publisher or self-published author. And the ones who I have seen successfully get their books into stores, it's by going in person and creating a relationship with that bookstore. And as someone, again, who's got a chronic illness, I don't have that extra time to do that. I also don't have the time, the health, the money to go to events and go to cons and Renaissance fairs and book events. I can't do any of that. I post currently on Threads, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and I have a Substack which serves as my newsletter. So I'm doing a lot, and I am paying attention as much as I can to like what time to post and what kind of posts do well and captions and hashtags. I do try and do my due diligence, but I, again, don't have money to pay for courses that really teach you how to do these things. I don't have that money. So again, that financial wall of what I'm able to accomplish just by myself. I actually started querying already, and it is definitely rough. I've already gotten 2 rejections, but like props to those agents for one replying. I appreciate that, because a lot of agents just say, if you don't hear back from me in X amount of time, it's a rejection. So I appreciate their timely response, and so I can just write them off and, but it's definitely hard, and I don't like the idea of not having full control over my story and giving up royalties and everything. But the fact of the matter is that I need that distribution, and I really am hoping to ideally become a hybrid author is my goal, and to have traditional publishing kind of get my name further out there more, that will then like drive people to my self-publishing books. And so basically my goal and my plan from here on out is to, if I think something is queryable, then I'm going to try to query it. And I'm doing that. My current timeline is 8 months. I'm going to do 6 months of querying. And the reason I say 6 months is because I actually research all the agents that are accepting queries right now. Like, I really look at their wish list. And so I'm not just like sending it out to like anyone. I'm actually trying to look at like what they want, and if we would be a good fit. So I don't actually have as big of a query pool as, say, someone who's just like, oh, they want fantasy, I'll send it. Like, I am looking at the specifics of what they want. So I'm gonna reach my querying pool end very quickly, but I am sending and the reason I'm even taking that long is because I'm sending them out in batches of 10, so that I can kind of try to gauge if my query letter and pack is good or not. And so every 10 agents that I query, I'm gonna try and revise if I feel like it needs revision, and I'm gonna ask some friends for help on that, and just try and revise and just give it a chance. And so I plan on sending out the queries for 6 months, and then so I'm gonna stop sending queries at the 6-month mark, and then I'm gonna wait 2 months, because like that seems to be about average, is what I'm seeing. Is like, oh, if 6 to 8 weeks pass, then it's rejection. So that should give time for every agent, whether they respond or just like silently reject, whatever, it'll give them enough time to do that. And then if no one takes it, I'm just gonna self-publish it. And I actually already have my cover and all the interior stuff that I want done for it. So like I'm okay with self-publishing. Like I enjoy actually the whole entire process of self-publishing, but I just also don't want to be broke. So that's kind of my plan for now, and that's kind of why I'm switching. I know that there's a lot of very strong opinions on traditional publishing and self-publishing, but I think you just have to do what works for you. And because of my lack of finances, because of my chronic illness, I just feel like traditional publishing will be more helpful in my career. Because my goal, of course I'd love to be a bestseller, but my goal is like mid-list. I want to be like a mid-list author. And I'm hoping that traditional publishing will help me get there. And we'll just see how it goes. And I'm also just kind of praying for God's wisdom and guidance on what he wants me to do. And that's the other thing is, I guess the great part of being a Christian is that I have God. And so I am not anxious about this at all. Of course I have dreams and I have things I want to happen, but I'm not really anxious about it. I'm just like, okay, God, if I get rejected, I get rejected, and I'll take that as a sign. You want me to self-publish, and I'll keep going. But I definitely know one thing that is a bit of a barrier, I feel like, with traditional publishing, and why I'm keeping my expectations low with querying, especially my current work in progress. The FMC has cerebral palsy, and all of my books are going to contain some type of like disorder, disability, chronic illness, mental health. That's like a really big passion of mine, and so all of them are going to include that. And, I think we oftentimes see that like publishing feels almost like it has like a quota, like, oh, we already have a book where if that's a fantasy with a woman with cerebral palsy, so we don't need another, so I think that might be one of my bigger obstacles. But like I said, I'll just self-publish it because I know what type of stories I want to tell. I know that they're valuable, even if traditional publishing doesn't see the value in them. But, maybe they'll bite eventually, and that'll help get my name out there, and then people will like look up, oh, Beck Skill, and see that she has other books to read. But yeah, in the comments, feel free to ask any questions about writing with chronic illness. If there's anything unclear about why I am choosing traditional publishing, or what your thoughts are on, and if you need any, advice on how to self-publish without a lot of money, let me know. And feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on this whole querying, weird hybrid author journey of mine. Thanks, guys.